today we are talking about friends. I just feel nobody really has a very honest conversation about friendship. We talk so much about love, we talk about so much about relationships, and we talk about so much about family. But I think friendships, which is one of the most meaningful relationships in anybody's life, and we are so surrounded by our friends. I just wanted to have a real honest conversations, and like these are things I wish I knew before, like about friendship. Honestly, at one point or the other, everybody has question in their life that do I even have real friends? I don't have friends. So before starting and diving into the topic, I want you to grab a cozy blanket or a good coffee or like any drink or something, and let's chat. Let me give you a quick introduction, not gonna take much of your time. If any of these topics that you're seeing on your screen right now interest you, if you like watching such content, consider checking out my channel. Just go check it out, and if you like it, consider subscribing, because that will make my day. Friendship is not supposed to be perfect, okay? All have this perfect idea of friends, and I think a lot of TV shows and series or movies that we see also inculcate that idea of the perfect friendship in our head. Person has to always be there for us, and they are like constantly 24/7 for us, and they do everything for us, and they are like perfect all the freaking time. The idea of perfection in friendship, I don't believe it exists, because a lot of times we get stuck with this ideal version of friendship that we often end up overlooking the friends that we have in our real life, looking for that one perfect friend who's going to be your ride or die or best friend. That's not really the reality. I mean, if you have that, I love that for you, I'm so happy for you, but not all of us do have that ride or die friends. Sometimes we have a great group of friends. I feel every human has their own flaws, every person has their own drawbacks and flaws. Expecting perfection in friendship is honestly just a way to not have good quality relationships in your life. I feel everyone disappoints someone or the other in their life. Everybody makes mistakes in their life, and that's okay. It does not have to be perfect to be meaningful, and hence we do not have one friend right in our life. We make tons of friends. But also, coming to the second point, like let's not make it a second point. That's not the second point, but like I'm just gonna give you a little context that okay, forgive once is fine, forgiving twice maybe in some contexts is fine, but forgiving again and again while them constantly disrespecting you, walking over your boundaries, or like just pulling mean shit on you is not okay. Like forgiveness once or twice is okay, but more than that, if the same person keeps making same mistakes or like keeps hurting you again and again, or like pulling shit on you, it's not really okay to forgive. You can move on, but yeah, it's okay to let go of a friendship if they are constantly hurting you. The second point, okay, the sun has immediately, I don't know how it's just come on my face right now. That was not how it usually is here, but okay. Second most important point, friendship standards, girl. You need to have friendship standards, because you're gonna meet a lot of people in your life, and not all of them deserve to be your friend, or not everybody deserves that space in your life or that influence in your life, because accept it or not, friends are going to influence you, influence your choices, your decisions, your lifestyle, everything. They are going to affect you. I don't know if you accept that or don't accept that, but it's the truth, okay? They do influence you in some or the other way, and not everybody deserves to be a friend. It's okay that somebody can just be a classmate or a person you know, or an acquaintance, or somebody you go to work with. Not everybody is your friend. I think everybody would agree on is that quality in friendships is way more important than quantity, and how you maintain that quality is to have freaking standards. What do you want in a friend? What are the basic qualities? The value matching, the belief matching, effort matching. It's so important. If we have to talk about toxic friends, ouch. We all have had really toxic friends in our life, and we've often overlooked the basic red flags. So I just want to give you a quick list of basic red flags that you need to look out in a friend, because I don't think so most of these red flags are often just plain big red flags that we avoid, and I have in my life, okay? Not taking 50-50 effort. A friendship has to be from both ways. It has to be 50-50 effort. It's fine if somebody is going through something during some time that the effort is not equal, but most of the time it should be 50-50, and both of them should be putting in the same effort, time, energy, and understanding and meaning to it. Girl, I'm telling you, if somebody is putting you down or pulling you down, she or he is not a friend. they are just not your friend, because friends actually uplift you when you, if you are keeping somebody who's constantly pulling you down in life, you are basically, you don't have friends in your life, because they cannot classify as friends. If somebody is pulling you down, pushing you down, well, those are not your friends. I read a story about a girl who's like really underconfident, really could not really believe in herself and was really negative, and the only thing that she changed to change her life was her friends, because her friends were constantly pulling her down, pushing her down. And trust me, I have been in that situation where, you know, I was surrounded by friends who were not very supportive in nature. Okay, supportiveness is bare minimum in a friendship. If they cannot support you, honestly, they are not your friends. Okay, that's what I'm telling you by having basic standards in your friendship. If they are constantly jealous, biggest red flag is jealousy in friendship. Jealousy in friendship should not exist. Okay, it just does not. Okay, I have great friends, and I have friendships where we have never even thought that this girl is jealous for me. She's always been there for me. We don't even think about jealousy, honestly, and that's how friendships are supposed to be like. Okay, you don't have to worry that will she get jealous of me, should I tell her this or not, will she try to put me down if I tell her this wild crazy idea, because I've told my friends a wildest of ideas, and they are, you know, like, if that is what you want to do, we are here for you. Okay, that's what friends are for. Another biggest red flag I really want you to notice is the way they talk to you and talk about you, because this really happens where we let go of this thing. But I think it's the biggest red flag, the way they are talking about you. Sometimes friends get away with things by saying that, oh my god, it was just a joke, I was just kidding with you, but they end up mocking you or making really bad fun of you, and that's really not cool. Because I used to think that that's how friendships are. You are supposed to make fun of each other, and you know, you're supposed to make fun of everything, but that's not really how it is. You can have good fun without mocking the other person. Constantly putting you down with jokes, or like, you know, talking really bad shit about you, and like making a really bad joke on you and saying that it was just a joke. It's not a joke. This is not a joke like that we all often overlook, because we're like, okay, he's just, you know, having fun, saying that in fun, he doesn't really mean it. But be very mindful about it, because I don't know about you, but I really mind that. Like, even if it's fun, even if it's a joke, you aren't really talking like that to me. Honestly, I'm telling you, your friends will celebrate your wins, and if they are not, that's the biggest red flag. Because, you know, there were times in my life where I had friends who were like, you know, they didn't do anything wrong, but they would never ever celebrate my wins. And like, you know, if I've done something, or I've achieved something, or I've gotten an award or something, if they're not celebrating with you, or they're not at least acknowledging that, that's also a red flag, because they don't really care that much about you. Okay, because right now, if I do something, and even if I think that that's not a big deal, my friends would be like, oh god, yay, congrats, and all that. But that's how my friends are. That's not how, maybe that's not the way of expressing, but like, you know, friends do celebrate your wins, and it's really important. You know, you should celebrate their wins too. But like, it's just a thing. This is something I really want to talk about, is if you don't have friends right now. Okay, if you do, I'm really happy for you. But if you don't have friends right now, let me tell you this, because I used to be like, you know, I don't have friends right now, and maybe that's like maybe I'm doing something wrong, or like, you know, why don't I have friends in my life, you know. But most people in their life, some point or the other in their life, have said that, okay, I don't have friends in my life, I don't know if I have real friendships in my life. And 90% of the people have said that, because at least in my opinion, fine to not have friends at a certain point in your life, because that happens. Okay, because there's no timeline for this. Okay, that you're supposed to have this. Okay, we had this narrative that by the age of 18 we should have our clique, we should have our friends group who are like ride or die and will do everything for us. That's not real life. That's really not how real life works. And it's nice that you are not settling for people who are constantly not being good friends to you. I was in junior college, I didn't find many friends, I didn't vibe with a lot of people, and it's fine. I did find my people way later in my life, and I used to feel really be like, I don't have friends, but that's okay. There's no rush to make friends. You will find your people at the right time. You will find your people, okay? Like, I have met people in the weirdest of ways, okay? So you do not have to force a friendship. It just forms very naturally, which also brings me to this point of effort and friendship. Are friendships effort? Yes, you have to put in some effort to maintain a friendship. It's not going to maintain on its own. But though that effort does not feel like effort, honestly. Like, it's like, I want to know how your life is going. I want to know how are you doing. I want to know what's been up with your life. It's not effort from my side. Like, it's effort. Me reaching out, me asking you about your life, that's effort. But like, it does not feel like effort, okay? It's like, it's effort but effortless kind of thing. Friendships should have effort, okay, from the other side too. Like, if they are not putting in effort, that's also not nice. Like, there should be equal effort on both sides, and that's healthy, okay? Like, healthy effort is a good thing. But if you're too much confusion, or like, too many rules in your head, and too much, like, it shouldn't feel exhausting, or like, you have to do this even though you don't want to do this. Constant confusion, constant anxiety about meeting them, or like constant walking on eggshells, that's not how it's supposed to be. Like, no. Which brings me to a very important point, which will simplify everything in your friendship. Please simplify friendships, okay? Like, that's really the next point. Simplify friendships. Friendships are easy. That's how I describe it. It's easy. Friendships are not a load of confusion, and it's supposed to be like this, that, and this fight and that fight. No. Honestly, it should feel easy. Like, I feel friendships are the most natural, easy, most relationships in your life. You do not have to do a lot. Like, like, why, don't put those in the words of, effort and all. Like, it's supposed to be very easy, very free flowing and natural in nature. If you tell me, if I have some free time and this person is around, and they're like, let's meet, if they are my friends, it would be very easy for me to be like, okay, let's meet, let's hang out. I wouldn't worry about what I'm wearing. I wouldn't worry about, do I have to look a certain way, do I have to take something, how will I talk, where will we go, how should this. It's not. It's supposed to be easy. I'll be like, okay, let's hang out. It's chill with this person. Like, it's my friend. It's supposed to be chill. It's supposed to be easy. A friendship is supposed to be easy going. I feel a lot of toxic friendships are formed like this, when the friendship is on the basis that you are talking bad about a person, or like, back bitching about a person, or conspiring against a person, or something like that. I've seen a lot of friendship form like that, and I don't think so that's a healthy basis for a friendship. Honestly, if that's all you do, it's not a really healthy basis of friendship, okay? And if you're okay, and friendships change, you grow with time, and your friendships change. But if a person cannot be okay with you growing up, or like you growing, honestly, I do feel there comes a point where you outgrow some of the friendships. And I don't know, this can be like, comes off a little harsh, but it's okay if you outgrow a person and you don't feel like hanging with them. Like, do not force yourself here, because friendships are not supposed to be like that. It's easy if you feel supported, if you feel like, okay, this is a nice environment and this is a nice connection to be in. That's how friendships are supposed to be. Like, okay to not be friends with a person forever. Some people just come in your life for a short period of time, and that sucks, but that's how life goes. That's just the way life goes. That's a song by Gracia Plans. I have a thing where I just go into songs. Anyways, that's a thing. There are a lot of close friends that I was really close with, and I don't even talk to them anymore, or like they wouldn't talk, or whatever. It's just that, you think that this is going to last forever, and you think that, with some people it has to be forever, and it doesn't, and then it hurts. I just feel people in your life are going to come and go, including friendships, especially friendships, because okay, they do come and they do go, and they're not forever sometimes, and that's okay. Be okay with that fact, okay? Because that does not make any time spent with them, or anything how you grew up with them, or any time that you spent together any less meaningful. We had a connection once upon a time. People get busy in their life, people grow up, and it's okay to not be forever friends. Which brings me to the last point of the video, friendship breakups. My god, they hurt. Okay, like why doesn't anybody talk about friendship breakups? Like we talk about romantic breakups all the freaking time, but friendship breakups hurt so damn much. My god, I've had some really bad friendship breakups and they have sucked. Okay, they hurt. Sometimes more than romantic relationships. It's hurting, it's fine, but you also have to know that it's okay to have standards in your friendship. That's really important because that's how you find better friends and good people in your life, because they are going to influence your life. Okay, and keeping unhealthy people who constantly hurt you or put you down or just are not good for you is not really healthy. Okay, like it's okay to let go of people. Friendship breakups hurt, but your standards and your self-respect, you yourself, you shouldn't be putting all these behind them. Okay, like if you have to sacrifice yourself, who you are as a person, or you have to put yourself behind this person, that's the point that friendship will stop being healthy. Like a friend would never want you to put them over yourself, because you have to be your first priority, because that's everybody's looking out for themselves. Okay, everybody has to love themselves. Okay, so if that's something that's coming in between, it's okay to walk away from people. I'm telling you, it's okay to choose not to be a friend with a person. I'm telling you, it's okay to walk away from a friendship. It's okay to not wanting to be in touch or not wanting to be a friend with this person. Last thing, I swear this is the last thing. A lot of times, we are friends with people who we've just known forever, and the time that you've known a person is not reason enough to be their friend, or like a reason enough to be in a toxic friendship where that's constantly derailing you or like constantly not being helpful or like adding to your life. Friends are supposed to add to your life. They're not supposed to disappoint you or put you down or like discourage you about life. They're supposed to be the happy part, the easy part, the fun going part, the nice part about life. That's basically the end of the video. That ended abruptly. Okay, hope you had fun talking with me, because I did. I love talking like this with you guys. If you have any topics or anything you want to talk about, let me know down in the comments. Comment anything and everything. Like, share, comment, and most importantly, subscribe, because that would make my day. I hope you had a good time. I love you guys.